Mark Hamill is upset that Donald Trump's bandage is, quote, too big. Now, we've seen a lot of people completely lose their mind. Some prominent names come to mind, whether that be some of the common big name accounts on X that are notoriously Biden shills and propaganda mouthpieces, I think shows the complete mental depravity that the left demands of people. Because you got to see the downward spiral happening over the course of months, where Mark Hamill went to the White House to do basically just cringe propaganda videos. I think purposely cringe in order to mock people's intelligence. Supporting a president who can't speak coherently or even stand, he can barely stand, as well as a regime that is so unpopular, it has leftists freaking out and decrying it almost daily. Mark Hamill's tweet is, first appearance of ludicrously oversized ear bandage, apparently not needed prior to tonight. This is his reaction to Donald Trump being almost assassinated. It's not to denounce violence. It's not to say it's a bad thing. It's not to acknowledge that it happened. It's to say his bandage is too big. This is the reason why I woke so many people up and why he's been getting dragged on X so viciously, and the reason I'm making a video about it, because you rarely see well, actually, you're seeing it a lot now, but this is a perfect crystallized example of utter leftist narcissism and psychopathy. The leftist ideology makes people into psychopaths because it tells them that their ideas are right or wrong based on their identity, not the intrinsic validity of the idea based on logic, reason, or rationality. Mark Hamill's response to seeing Trump wearing a bandage after being shot was to say the bandage was too big. There's a lot of psychopathy going around on the left. And I think why this image with Trump walking out at the RNC and saying, people visibly seeing that he's a fighter, that he's resilient, that he's dedicated to the cause, that he's brave, that he's willing to fight because we are dealing with evil. All of that is enraging to the left for a variety of reasons, but the biggest reason, and I tweeted about this, is that when they saw him with the bandage on his ear, they were shown that he was a victim of an attack against him. And according to the left, what makes you a good person is that you are a victim. And so it completely fried their brain. They short-circuited. And that's what I think induced this, because if you're in a coherent state of mind, or even if you're in a mildly sane state of mind, you wouldn't tweet something like this just because you know you would be humiliated for it. So Mark Hamill tweeted this without knowing or not caring that he would be humiliated and that it would be a net loss for the left. He was genuinely just upset that people could see Trump as a victim of violence. That's what got him angry. It wasn't that Trump faced violence. It wasn't that the event happened. It was that people can look at Trump as a martyr. That's what he was upset at, and that's why it comes across as so petulant and juvenile and immature, as well as evil, this response that he wrote. But you're seeing the same thing going around in leftist circles, where even the mainstream leftists, and forget CNN, because they're just constantly saying the opposite of the truth. I'm talking about even people like Destiny have just completely thrown away their brand and credibility, whatever credibility they had left. Obviously, if you know who Destiny is, this guy, oh, that's good. That's a great still. This guy lets other men plow his wife, and actually his wife left him. Yeah, that's the face of that guy where that happened. So I wonder why your wife left you. Maybe it's something to do with how you let other men plow her. Anyway, countless leftists have become so deranged as a result of this event, where evil was thwarted by objective good, that they're unraveling, because they can tell that they've lost their monopoly on virtue. People no longer believe them. People see them as frauds, and so they're just saying heinous things due to their combination of insanity and that short-circuiting event that I described earlier. They want to have a monopoly on victimhood, because to them, victimhood is virtue.
But when you are in a world where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theory.
I'm not a conservative.
They can have any.
This is the face of a leftist who's being confronted for his complete and utter evil. Guys, Destiny reveled in the death of a firefighter who's a husband, a father, an American patriot, and he mocked him. He tried to scorn him. He insulted the dead firefighter. And this is the face of the leftist who did all those things when he's being confronted.
But they can do any of these things, and then liberals are supposed to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's so tragic.
No, Destiny.
Absolutely not.
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
Let me explain
He wants to be a victim, because to be a victim is a good person, and yet he's propagating pure evil.
my position, because I'm not a conservative. I'm not on either side in your race, right? Here's what I think about what you did. You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting.
He looks different. I think there's a notable petulant, childless aspect to his demeanor here. Almost like a boy who has not been disciplined, who knows he's done something wrong, but is waiting for his father to come home. Something like that. Because there's no denying what he said was evil. There's no denying what he said was beyond the pale. And if he defends it, he's just admitting to be a bad person. And he's also past the point of where gaining more attention benefits him in any way. All the attention he's receiving is detrimental to whatever brand he worked to build by having a conversation with Jordan Peterson or, other people like that. But this is exactly the same type of thing that Mark Hamill was going through. Derangement as a result of being seen as a fraud and then coping with it.
Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing. You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost gleeful that a young...
Look at his broken face. You can tell that he knows he's evil. This is him being held accountable because he wasn't disciplined as a boy. But that's also the reason why he let other men plow his wife and why his wife left him. He's broken inside, and he's been broken for a long time. But this is the architecture of the left. It actually breaks people. It makes them into this. It preys on them for their weak feminine psyches.
Firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead, that he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was president of the United States until recently for 4 years and maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry, that makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about glee?
He literally is gleeful.
Gleeful. Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband when they broke in.
I can answer that.
Mainstream media figures
I can answer that.
So the response to their inhumanity is that the opposition has done things we don't like. It's not to defend their statement. It's to demonize the other party. Because what did I say at the beginning of the video? Virtue is defined by the identity of the speaker, not by logic or reason to these people. That's the reason they're psychopathic. It's because they believe that. So rather than acknowledge that what he did was wrong, he's saying, I'm a part of the right group, so I'm correct by default. He doesn't believe he has to be responsible for his words, but of course he's finding out.
I don't care.
I can answer that.
With all due respect, I don't care what your answer is.
Let me answer that.
The reality is that conservatives have been turning the temperature up on the rhetoric. They have been making...
So this is the reason why I said he was not worthy to talk to Jordan Peterson, because he's not in his intellectual weight class, and he was being a fraud during that entire conversation. Obviously, Jordan Peterson owned him very easily in multiple parts of that interview, which was kind of funny. But this is actually who he is. He's just a broken freak.
Making fun of these types of events for years, and now when something happens to them, now they're looking for...
When something happens, the leader of the Republican Party, and very arguably the person whose America's future hinges on, was nearly assassinated by less than a centimeter. Something happened. The psychopathy comes through.
For sympathy from the liberal side? Absolutely not. It's insane. It's unhinged.
Dude, what's crazy is that as he said those words, unhinged, what's crazy is as he said that word unhinged, look at his eyes. So people have been calling this sort of thing demonic possession, and it is possible that as God's been moving, as he very clearly did with Trump, that it brought forth, or I should say to the surface, a lot of overt evil in people. I mean, what you're looking at here is crazy. I think his eyes are even looking in different directions. It's really strange.
Unhinged.
Yeah,
now they're looking for sympathy from the liberal side? Absolutely not.
Look at his face as he says unhinged here.
It's insane. It's unhinged.
Yeah, Leftists are psychopathic. They're evil, and the only correction for this is to elect Trump in November.
Conduct yourself in such a manner and expect people to feel sorry when things happen.
Why should anybody...
And he's laughing afterwards. He wasn't disciplined as a child. This is the reason why his wife left him and his life is in shambles and he's not respected.
On the right, listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave. And by the way, for the record, the mockery of Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked by an intruder with sides, and I'm happy to call it out when I see it. You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting
Right, but they're frauds. See, they know that they're frauds.
Inhumane behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump,
I'm sorry. No. My wife left me because I let other men fuck her. Yeah, but anyway, I'm glad an innocent firefighter patriot was, anyway.
Have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Fuck him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally of a guy he wants to vote for.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States. I'm not here to tone police over their empathy.
80 million people voted for Donald Trump last time around.
That's great. 80 million people voted for a guy that tried to insurrect the government, and it looks like they might try to do it again. I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to say. These are the facts on the ground. The idea that
They're broken. The only way to fix this, of course, is to bring consequences to them. He still hasn't even acknowledged what he said.
So you don't like attacks on democracy. So presumably you would unreservedly condemn the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, because that's one of the most egregious attacks on American democracy of modern times. Presumably,
I don't think that
you will
anybody
take
should
this
be trying
opportunity,
to-
given you
I
are
don't
so
think anybody-
determined to protect the integrity of democracy, you would find it absolutely outrageous that someone has tried to assassinate.
And here we see that he's not going to be able to do that. And so his complete degeneracy and feigned virtue is concluded and forfeited.
A president, right?
If the other conservatives on this show want to say that it was absolutely
Oh, the reframe. I'm going to try to reframe what he just said instead of answering the question. Not going to work.
outrageous
I'm
that Donald
asking
Trump
you.
attempted to coup the government,
I'm asking you.
then maybe I would. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness or show sympathy to conservatives.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking you to condemn what happened as an egregious attack on democracy. Can you do that?
No, I won't. No, I won't.
You can't do that. You see, so why?
There it is. Yep, there it is.
Why the hell?
Absolutely
Frankly,
not.
Destiny.
Absolutely not.
Why the
Absolutely
hell
not.
should we listen to a
Absolutely not.
word you have to say?
Yeah, so he's broken, and he's going to be viewed as broken forever now. That right there is, I mean, that's like equivalent to the 9/11 moment and Hassan, right? It's like there's no coming back from that. You'll never be, considered serious again.
Wait, hold on. Why do you think conservatives haven't been listening to a word that liberals have said about anything for 8 years?
Right,
what do you
but
think
why
is going to
should
change?
they?
You think
But
if
here's my
liberals
point,
come out now and
Destiny.
they go, "Oh my God, this was so horrible,"
But here's
they're
my
going to go,
point.
"Wow, that is true." Maybe
Hey, wait a
that
second.
should also like
Charlie,
Charlie,
I'll bring you in at the end of this. I promise you, and you'll get a good chance to respond. But here's my problem, Destiny, with your whole position on this, right? Is that you don't actually have anything inside you that you want the other side to have. You don't have any of the empathy. You don't have any sympathy. You don't care that someone tried to assassinate Donald
Yeah, he's broken. He's broken.
asking for
You
empathy
don't care
and
that a young
sympathy.
fireman with a family was killed in the process. You don't actually. You are not the person you want these other people to be, and all you do is play whataboutery with every question I give you. And I'm just startled.
But here's a question for the two panelists. What percentage of this event happening was due to Donald Trump's rhetoric? What do they think the answer to that question is?
What percentage could it be that the other side, as we've just heard from Dave Rubin, has spent 8 years calling Donald Trump the new Adolf Hitler, a person who was responsible for the murder of 12 million people, including 6 million Jewish people in a Holocaust? Last time I checked, Donald Trump hasn't murdered 12 million people. So much as you would like him to be the new Hitler, he's not. But again, to an impressionable young deranged mind who has easy access to guns, that can be easily interpreted as an existential threat.
Incredible point by Piers. This is a great video because it shows how broken the left has become, and this event revealed them. So through the great gleaming light and clear objective heroism that was the 13th of July, we see the left descend, broken, fragmented, lashing out, exposed, fraudulent, evil, only helping people to make up their minds even more. So, guys, if you enjoy my analysis, seriously subscribe to the channel and watch my other videos, because what we're doing here is we're fighting the forces of darkness itself. There's a lot of people that have irreparably captured under the spell of this Marxist resentment, but there are still people that can be reached, still people that can be saved, so that their lives aren't destroyed like this very, very sad human's life has been.